You want an investment edge, but all you hear is noise, hype, and half-truths. Every signal is solid information, but only if you can see the bigger picture. This is where the Quasar magic happens. Weather, charts, news, all financial signals funneled into a single dashboard. Data alone isn't enough. Quasar Markets turns it into energy, sharp, clear, precise. Optimize with Quasar Markets today. Your edge when investing.
Good morning, traders. Welcome in. It's Friday, November 14th, and the markets are doing exactly what Steve's been warning about for weeks. Tech is getting smoked, crypto's bleeding, the AI darlings are finally blinking, and Bitcoin is not only broken below 100, it's now well below that 98K level I laid out as a likely magnet. And of course, my partner in crime, who's been pounding the table, this economy was faltering into Thanksgiving and telling you to keep fresh powder on for an incoming drop, is here for the show. BigBeat, how are we doing this morning, buddy?
Great. Life's good. I mean, I think that's the question, right? Is that we were prepared for this, right? I don't like this sell-off. It's the problem is that we run up with zero DTEs, we run up with nonsense, and we're going down now with nonsense. So that's what's happening right now. And it's exacerbated, and it's run to the hills and to the moon. And Michael Saylor said, "Look, everybody wants to go to the moon, but that's not how it works. You know, you don't do that, right? This is not how markets work. Markets work because there's a buyer and there's a seller. It is literally a machine. So every single buy, there's a sell. So everybody's selling here.
There's no buyers.
There's a buyer, okay? There's a buyer out there buying. So don't think that the Chicken Little world is happening where the world is falling apart yet. Yes, the world's burning. We all know that. We know it, Russia. But this is Fed-induced, right? The Fed is now telling you that we're not going to have all these cuts that everybody wants to have. Well, they're wrong. We've said that. They're wrong. They've been wrong. They've been wrong. And Mary Daly says, we don't know what to do. Because Carly says, well, maybe we got enough.
And AI doesn't do anything yet. I mean,
yeah, we don't know how AI works. I'm an 80-year-old lady who doesn't. I mean, she need a cane and a walker and a wheelchair. Let's be honest. The world is changing faster than the Fed. I think they're lost, and because of that, we're hurting because of it, right? But we have a president who's derelict. We have a Congress who can't barely get a budget passed. Still don't have a budget, folks.
They don't have a budget passed. They just agree. They're now just agreeing to start yelling at each other again.
I mean, we got Democrats who are just, well, we want healthcare fixed. Okay, well, do something about it, right? This is this could be the do nothing Congress, do nothing administration, the do nothing government. We've had a do nothing Congress in the past, but this is a do nothing everything. And so we have a problem now. Now it's a do nothing administration, do nothing Congress, this is getting worse. And one of the things that they do, they've already backed off all the tariffs. Most of the tariffs are already gone. Oh, we're going to give everybody a $2,000 check. It's not working. It never works. We said that again in January. It never works. So where are we at now? I said this on Schwab. I said this on a few shows that the economy, look, we're going to go sideways for a while. We're doing that now. We're going to get a pullback. And people ask me how much. I said not 10, not 20, but somewhere in the middle, about 13. Guess where we're at. But here's the problem. The problem is we're going into Thanksgiving. We're going into end of October, or I'm sorry, November. The damage is done, right? The damage is done. There's going to be roughly about $8.5 trillion in cash on the sidelines. The question mark is when they go back in, and you're asking the question: is this the drop? Maybe, maybe not. Could be not. We all know that in down markets like this, we all know that the upsides usually are hard to swing because they're trying to catch the shorts and they're trying to buy a bottom. Michael Saylor says he's buying Bitcoin. He says that. He said he bought some, he's buying more. Well, we'll turn to you on that one. But here's my question mark. We went from 4.14 on the 10-year to 4.081 in less than a few seconds. All right. That's a problem. The bond market's just gone. We got a problem. Housing market's in a problem. Congress, the do nothing Congress saying, well, now maybe we got to do something about housing. The do nothing administration said we got to do something about housing. Well, Maybe we should tear
Yeah,
up the
I mean, there is no doubt there, correlations have been broken. All of that stuff is sort of out the door. We've seen the markets crack, tech and crypto let it off. Dow down nearly 800 points, S&P down 1.7, NASDAQ down 2.3, going to break a 7-week win streak there. Russell 2000 even worse, down about 3%. Futures are moving lower. And what makes it more important, like you said, is breadth, right? You got to point out that the percentage of stocks within 20% of their 12-month high is rolling over. That's the market.
Rolling over.
It's saying the generals may be standing, but the troops are limping off the field, right?
Troops are dead.
Yeah, and we've been talking about this here on Quasar Markets Live. Steve's been saying into Thanksgiving, the economy is slowing, the consumer is cracking, and the rally needed a reset. We literally told you, have fresh powder ready for this when the air pocket finally shows up. So, Steve, my question is this the dip, or do you think that,
I'm buying. I mean, I'm
Okay.
buying. I bought Royal Caribbean and Disney on these dips. Are they dipping a little bit more today? Yeah, a little bit. But you know what? I'm gonna go long. I mean, I think that the stupidity is out there. The retail is getting slaughtered, and I hate that because I've been told that they're the smartest guys on the block. And
I mean, I think almost everybody's getting slaughtered, though, because as you just said, bond traders
are not. Institutions are picking up. They're buying.
But you've been talking about how bond buyers, smart as people, like you just said, they were all on the wrong side of this.
They're all wrong. The bond market's gone. I mean, they're in trouble, right? But this is not their fault.
Yeah. So I mean, that's the part I'd point out there is that's the case. And then the other part is gold sold off. So the correlations, like I said, the correlation trade's gone.
Cash.
It's not just tech and everything.
It's cash. That's all there is to this. This is cash.
Well, right? DXY's down, and Mr. Flanagan is on vacation, so he won't be in today. But it's below we're going to close below last week's close. So the things that he's warned us to watch for are moving in the wrong direction also.
Yeah, but it's not going in the DXY. It's not going to cash that way. It's going into cash like in money markets, right? That's why the bond market's falling, right? Because they don't need to raise the rates, so the money goes into these markets, these money markets, and that's why the price is coming down, right? So
again,
they're like, we don't need to raise our rates.
For some people, when there are more buyers of bonds, the rates actually go down, not up. It's an inverse reaction because there's more people bidding for the same amount of credit.
And they don't need to raise the rates. They raise the rates to bring money into it, right?
Absolutely.
Right? And here's the thing. And they're not gonna cut, and yet the rates are coming down. Wow, that's bad. I mean, that's a double whammy. So somebody in the administration better get on his butt and start realizing the economy is not as good as everybody thinks it is, and everybody understands that what we're having problems with right now is AI is taking people's jobs. I'm sorry, Mary Daly, you're wrong. Okay, I'm sorry, Fed. It is taking people's jobs. Amazon's telling you that. Google's telling you that. All these companies that are holding up the whole market are telling you I'm laying people off because I don't need them.
As you say that, all of them holding up the market. My next headline is the Mag 7 cracking, Steve. Let's get to the epicenter. Tech and AI trade. NVIDIA, AMD, Tesla, Palantir. It's like the market decided to punish the full Cathie Wood starter kit in one shot this week. NVIDIA's down 3% yesterday, again under pressure today. Let's see, down another 2.69. AMD off more than 4%. Tesla down more than 6%, tracking for one of its worst weeks in years. And Palantir off more than 6% yesterday and red again this morning. Citi has warned when generals fail indicator. They say the longer-term trend for the Mag 7 is still intact, and 6 of the 7 are above their 200-day moving averages. So structurally, they say the bull isn't dead yet. I think it's wounded.
I mean, if I told you a stock was at 220 about a week or two ago, and I tell you now the stock's at 170, would you be like, oh, that's a bullish stock? That's Palantir.
Yeah, I'm with you. Yeah.
So, and look, and I love Palantir at 35. I didn't like it at 200. I don't even like it at 170. So, I love the company. I love what they're doing. I love Alex Karp. He's got some balls on him, and I like it. He's trying to change the world and for the better, and do the right thing. But Stock right now, I told you 172. It's at 165 now. It's 220 a couple weeks ago. It's 165. Yeah. Is it on sale? No. Because the market cap now, Palantir is now 410 billion yesterday, so probably like around 390 billion. But yet, their quarterly take was 300 million. All right, so no, it's not. It's overvalued. If I look at, but you know what I told you, interestingly enough, the world is not playing nice with the media, and media for Trump isn't being nice either. Newsmax, who at $15 not too long ago, I said that's ridiculous. It's at $8. GoPro, $1.50 a share. All right, these are high darling back in the day. Newsmax was a darling, right? Gone. It's almost gone, right? Because you have to think about the future when we look at the markets, and people were not doing that. They were just going, I'm going to buy whatever stock that's hot and I see it on Twitter. I'm going to buy that stock, or I'm going to buy whatever someone out there screaming at me. I got berated on Wolf Financial because I didn't know what I was talking about. Maybe I should go take a victory lap today on this show. But look, it's not my way of doing this. I'm trying to be honest with people, telling what's really going on in the world. I do my channel checks. I am part of the government. I do advise, and I do have the phone number. Yes, I do have Trump too. But here's the thing. Here's the real deal. When stocks are on sale, people get nervous.
They don't want to buy. It's like I said, no. The two things that they don't want to buy are crypto and stocks when they're on sale. Right. But I guess my question you just sort of answered. I was going to ask you if you thought the value compression got to the right levels. It doesn't sound like you feel that on some of them. I mean, I know you went RCL Disney, so obviously you feel like that compression's come back down to where they're a value. Are you seeing a bigger breadth yourself of stocks that are coming into that value type area for you?
I think two things have to happen. The first thing that has to happen is I think we need to see AI actually making some money. All right, we got to see some companies that are making money with AI. All right, that's a question mark around me. All right. The second thing is, and I've said this a million times, I've been in the Apple stores. I was in the Apple store down in the FIDI Financial District this week, and it was just jam-packed. People were buying iPads and Macs, and I was going through it, and they like normal. They couldn't get to me for 5 minutes, and I had a question about I wanted to use one of my iPads to be a display, and they couldn't even get to me, right? So, that tells me that there's still the economy, but this K-shaped economy is not working for everybody. It's really not working. And because of that, who's the buyers of these iPads? Who's the buyers of these? And it's got to be businesses. And are businesses doing it? Nope. They're laying people off because of AI. So where are the buyers of the products that they're selling? That's what I want to know. What are they buying, right?
Right.
That's what I want to know. Are they buying Nike pants or shoes and Levi jeans? Are they going to Costco to still buy gold?
You keep moving ahead on me here before I can. You keep moving ahead. I know we didn't have time to get together this morning and talk about what we're going to talk about, but we are always in general on the same page. Steve, let's circle back to the big emotional question folks have. Is this the drop we've been saving powder for? Or is it time to get your shopping list together? And what do you think about the consumer? Because the story that makes this feel very late cycle to me is the consumer. Consumer sentiment is back at 3-year lows, flirting with some of the worst readings we've ever seen. And it's wild this time is who is pulling back.
Rule number 8 of BigBeat's trading, always have powder, right? So always have powder. You never know. If you're living on, I call it living on the edge, meaning you're margined up and all that, that's on you, because you should always have powder. And for those of you who knew, I had not gone on margin and did that last week because I knew the Fed was going to open up the government, took the profit, ran, and here we go. Is this a time to deploy some of that capital? I have gotten 3 texts this morning about that. What stock should I buy now that the selling is happening? Well, you tell me what you're out there. What are you still buying? What are you personally buying out there? You tell yourself that. That's why I tell people, go read One Up on Wall Street by Peter Lynch.
Absolutely. Right? You just nailed his, buy what you know, what you know and what you like. Steve, what I'm nervous about is what I'm hearing a lot of is the high income is trading down. We talked about this. What I said was something I thought might buoy us a little bit was that the upper leg of that K would bring it up. But we see McDonald's say traffic from high income diners is up nearly double digits. The 100+ K crowd is suddenly loving extra value meals. Applebee's and IHOP are saying the same. Higher income guests are trading down for more expensive restaurants. And Savers Value Village says its younger and more affluent customers are its fastest growing group. And Walmart continues to gain share among households making over 100K. So it's not just the lower income households feeling the pinch. They've been in the pressure cooker for 6 months now. The upper income bracket is finally starting to blink here, Steve.
I mean, I don't know what else to say to you. I mean, now we nailed it. I mean, that's all there is to it. We've nailed it.
Yeah. And the other part of it that's really there is Gen Z and millennials are really hitting the brakes. We've seen all of the things that they like to buy. The Chipotle's, Cava, Sweetgreen, all reported their 25 to 35 cohort is cutting back. Younger consumers are cooking at home, pulling back on non-essentials, and even trading down on eyewear at places like Warby Parker, choosing the cheaper frames, not the premium one. They pointed to the fact that people are actually, buying the morning, buying the eyeglasses that are given to them by their healthcare, not stepping up.
I'll tell you, I went to Lens Crafters the other day. I mean, I went in there and I was 5 minutes late, and they were screaming at me because I was 5 minutes late. They're feeling the pinch too.
Oh yeah, yeah. Steve, you've been blunt. The economy was faltering into Thanksgiving, even before the shutdown drama peaked. How big a warning sign is it when high-income shoppers are trading down and Gen Z's pulling back?
High-end shoppers buying low-end products is nothing new. When you look at them going to Costco or Sam's Club, I mean, I go to Sam's Club. I enjoy it because I buy in bulk some things. Not everything.
The one that's, like I said, the restaurants were really telling to me. I come from that world. And to hear the numbers at Applebee's and IHOP and McDonald's, and I've been talking about, right, when you said, well, who's going to McDonald's? I said, I don't know. These extra value meals seem to be dragging people in. The lines at the one by me.
I think McDonald's might have something else extra going on with them, and that's the Monopoly game.
All their cross promotions right now, it's wicked. You don't have a 5-year-old. You don't know what's going on, buddy. If we don't get there for our wicked stuff, we are in trouble. Good morning, Ron. Hope you're having a good day.
Hey, Ron.
Using your burner account today for us. And everybody, thank you for joining us. Make sure you share, like, follow, all those fun things that help us get the algorithm going. I think today is a day of all days that we need people to view in, listen to what Steve has to say. And another one, Steve, that you've been talking about, I didn't warn you about this one, so hopefully you're ready. Let's move into housing because it's where you've really been way ahead of the mainstream narrative. New data shows that nearly 900,000 homeowners are underwater on their mortgages. They owe more than their home is worth. That's about 1.6% of all mortgage holders, the highest in over 3 years. Almost 90% of underwater borrowers bought in the last 3.5 years, Steve.
So when you're upside down in your house, meaning that you owe more than what the house is worth, that's a problem. And we didn't really see that until 2006, 7, and 8. The Big Short, right? We had a credit crunch. It was not a housing problem. It was a credit crunch, meaning the banks lent out more than they had. Nobody could pay their housing, and then it just became a house of cards. Okay. All right. Let's fast forward a bit. Let's think about this. If the rich people are going to Costco, they're saving money because they got a mortgage. And they don't want to get out of that mortgage, so they got a 3% mortgage. Okay. Kids coming up want to buy a home, but they're spending it on gambling on DraftKings and 0 DTEs and iPads. So they're paying rent. So that's not them that's going to come in and save the housing market. Banks are going to be flushed with cash because of all of this selling, or some cash, because some of the selling is on the short side, and a lower rate. So all of these things put together is going to cause a massive housing crisis. Now it's a housing crisis. Now it's not the banks don't have money or a credit crisis. This is an actual housing crisis. Okay.
Well, yeah. And Steve, something you brought up yesterday, you know, and what got me into this is you started with that mortgage rate. And I said, I have to look more into that. You know, you brought up Texas, which had one of the highest rates. You know why they do? Because prices are down 4.6% in the last year, 22% below their peak, and nearly 7% of mortgages are underwater. So if they're going to take on new loans, they're going to make you pay more for it because they think there could be more of a a failure there. So, I did want to bring that up from there. Ida, Steve saying that if it's not the bottom, some things are back at a value where you want to buy it. Some things are still overvalued. So it matters what you're buying. Be a stock picker. It's not a broad answer. One, are we at the bottom or not? For certain stocks, we definitely are not. But for some of them, they are sort of on sale, as Steve pointed out.
It's interesting. I always ask the question, how do you know when capitulation happens? And almost every big broker that I know says this. You just know it. It's just a feeling, right? You just know it. And I've always had that. I always just knew it, right? Here's capitulation. When people are just, the sellers are done, the buyers they're not going to do anything, and they're going to step back in, right? So is the bottom in? No. Is the top in? No. So and I've said this, I think Kellen Woods asked me this 2 weeks ago. I was up in New York not too long ago. How's it going to end? And I said this, that we're going to trade sideways. So technically we're trading sideways, right? We're not at the high. We're not at the very low of April. So think of it like the low of being April and the high being, what it was not too long ago in the Dow. So we're trading sideways going all the way into the end of the year. And that's what I think we're doing. I think this is the path of what?
Least resistance.
I can hear you all say it. Path of least resistance. This is the path of least resistance. Yeah, is the path of least resistance the upside? Nope. No, because the damage has been done, as I said earlier. The path of least resistance to the downside, but I think the downside selling is abating a little bit. But let's see what the cash market has to do. I think it's going to tell me a little bit more. But when we go to 104,000 on Bitcoin to 94,000 and do this in like a day, that tells me a lot. That we were over leveraged. People were just being silly, and there's a lot of manipulation going on at Binance and a few other places too. We know that, right? And you talk about it, the perps and all that too as well. So we know all of that, but that'll go away. Michael Saylor's buying the dip; he always does, but that's not enough to save the market, right? So we need to understand. I need clarity in this market. I need a president to stand up and do his goddamn job. I need a Fed to do the goddamn job, and I need the Congress to do their goddamn job. Right? You want to get real serious about life in general and housing? That's how it happens.
Yeah.
They set policy. So if we have a country, we just saw the election. The election was a sweep of the Democrats, and I don't even think they've got a plan. Right? So we're in problems, right? Let's see what Trapper's saying here. Buy homes for cash as is will become a problem. Those homes sell for less than $100. Yeah. Trash for cash and all that. I do like that. Same, Steve. Yeah. I'm not trying to be mean to our government. I'm not trying to be mean to the president. I'm not. But when you're building I'm trying not to curse. When you're building out a gold ballroom, and the world's falling apart, you're blind.
Yeah.
If we've got I don't know what to say to people. How do I explain this? Right. And so when we see these markets falling, well, what do I do? I just got 4 texts in the last minute going, I'm scared. What do I do? Right. Well, I don't know. I kind of tried to tell you in the last month or two what's going to happen. Right.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
And have powder, or you won't be nervous and scared. And that's what's happening. We're seeing this rolling tide of people getting scared, and they shouldn't be scared. If you're listening to us, you're like, oh, hey, this is great, right? Doc Specker saying, let them eat cake. It's exactly right.
Yeah.
Not a let them eat. That's what's happening.
Yeah, absolutely. Getting back to Bitcoin, because we did start there, we do have to hit on it, and you mentioned Michael Saylor. It's 9, we got to hold this 93, but as he pointed out, if you don't have a 4-year time horizon, then you probably shouldn't be investing in Bitcoin. And
Warren
it's something
Buffett says
if
you can't handle this, you shouldn't be investing, right?
Yeah, and that's what he's saying. Right. And keep in mind, we're still up 5.57% year to date. So even on this pullback, if you've been in Bitcoin since, the January, you are still up 5.57%. So this is right within the realms of what you should expect in a volatility of something that's a 40 vol product, right? I mean, this is the breadth. This is how it goes up to certain levels. This is how it goes down. I see Mr. Flanagan calling in from vacation here. There he is. I hope you're having a good time, sir. And you just nailed it. And I thought that Michael Saylor did a great job. It's one of the things I talked to Steve as we were coming on and saying, hey, it isn't, the sky is falling in that the economy is not doing well. But it's something we've been talking about and telling people to be prepared for. But we wanted to make sure we weren't coming on and saying, oh my God, the sky's falling. It's like, hey.
And I don't want to, Steve's on his vacation, so I don't want to hit him too much, but he is saying market pressures have forced capitulation. So, just ask the question, is this the capitulation? You know it by seeing it. So, Steve, are you calling this as capitulation? I answer that. I think, I think a lot of people will be happy to hear that answer from you, but is this the capitulation that we're looking for?
Yep, that is the question. That is the question. And as Michael Saylor said it, they're buying big. Everyone's going to get the notice on Monday when they do their SEC filing. We know they raised $700 million. I did see that we did have the spot volume finally picked up, and we went.
And look, Disney's green here in the pre-market. So folks, it's okay. I don't like the chickens are coming home to roost. So here we are, right? So I'm not.
And we are about a minute away from the open here, so I do want to get us set up here. Advanced declines down about 3,000, so don't be surprised if what you're looking at in your portfolio opens on the downside here. SPY set to open down about 1%. The NASDAQ opens, and we are open down 1%.
The Nikkei's down. The Nikkei's down. Hang Seng's down. Kospi's down.
SoftBank's getting killed over in Japan. Right. I didn't get to that yet today. We'll talk as we get through here on some other stuff going on that way. First moves.
Yeah, Disney's back to 108 already.
No real first move. So the algo is pretty quiet here. Hey, look, you sitting right at 631.
108. I'm not positive on Disney. I'm actually green on my Disney buy yesterday. So
there you go.
It's okay, folks. Think about what the rich are buying. And I've said that. I think Disney's way undersold.
I will tell you, I am out of VIX again. I will look to get back into it. I bring it up all the time. As soon as it broke back through that 21 handle, I got rid of it yesterday. So VIX now look for it to come back down towards that mid-level 16-15, rinse and repeat. That's the hedge, right? Volatility. Bitcoin's reaction is pretty good here on the cash open, 95.5. So nicely holding up a little bit here so far.
Tesla
Mag 7, everything in the green as we talked about. Wow, Google 2.63, Tesla another 3%. Tesla 390. I was pointing out that 400 I thought was maybe a good spot.
Ooh. It is. Anything under 400, I said that on Tesla. And I'm usually short Tesla.
Tesla just filled its gap to the downside we talked about yesterday. Right. Didn't quite get there yesterday. It has now. So that starts to be interesting here at this level. Meta at 600, man. Again, 596.40 is what I had targeted there. I did buy a little bit the other day. I will buy more at that level. So I'm starting my wish list a little bit here. My Christmas shopping list a little early. Apple down about 88 basis points here. Early morning gainers, there weren't much to talk about. Warner's brother Discovery is up about 2% here. And I was going to say, Steve, part of your Disney might be there where there is all the talks. They are getting ready to close that bidding process.
Qs are getting spiked right here.
Tick still negative. Advanced decline dropped down to 41.58 to the downside. Actually hit almost 4,200 to the downside. There
are we hearing that Senator Fetterman from Pennsylvania has been hospitalized after a heart issue?
That's not good. DXY, the Dixie back down at 99.12 here, so below last week's close of 99.56 that Mr. Flanagan was looking for us to hold here.
The United States and Switzerland have now reached a deal to lower tariffs of 15%.
And I will say Mr. Flanagan did get back and said that, yes, it's over by Monday or Tuesday. So his opinion is in. I do think today is a sell-off day. I don't see much that's going to buoy us. I think you'll get some, zero DTEs might move the market a little bit. I think people are going to be scared today to trade.
I think the zero DTE trade might be over in the next 6 months. I think people are tired of losing their butts.
I don't know. There's always a winner on the other side, right, Steve? We've talked about it. Someone's selling those options. Someone's selling them.
That's right. Institutions are making a ton of money on you. So I mean, yeah, they're making a boatload of bucks because they see your trade. Dow's down 500, the S&P's down 87, Nasdaq's down 400. Folks, this is how it is.
Yeah, but why is gold down? Gold's down 3.3% too.
The SMI, the OMX, stocks 50, all down 1.8, 1.7%. The whole world is down. So we're not different. All right, here we go. Trump administration plans a major cuts to long-term housing for homelessness. So there we go.
Yeah, I mean, they realize housing is one of the things they've got to fix.
Don't worry. I've made lots of phone calls and I had lots of conversations with the White House and staff over the last 3 weeks. They've changed their tune a little bit. It's good. Silver getting spanked again, almost down below the 50 handle now. So 4%. This is a 54 just the other day. Now about down to 50. Like this thing is just boom, 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 boom. Like that is not normal for silver and gold. Right? That's the kind
well, that's because one day the sky's falling, the next day everything's great, if you ask people.
Yeah. Agreed.
Trying to see if there's any movers to the upside. For some reason, Figure's up about 2.72%, the stablecoin company. Upstart up about 2.15. That's interesting. Best Buy up 1.46. So people do think the consumer is going to shop, it looks like. T-Mobile up 1.39 here today. Waste Management up. So they are, again, what is up is not tech in general. It is, your stalwarts, your Mondeleses.
Domino's Pizza's up. It's in the green.
Yeah, I was gonna say, your Keurig Dr. Pepper. I saw Pepsi was up earlier. I don't see it on my list right now, but that was up earlier.
1.8%.
P&G up about 70 basis points. A little bit of energy getting some love. Chevron up 69 basis points. Some of the utility companies like Southern Company, which is really oil, Fang, they're getting a little bit of love, but in general, not a lot of love being shown here across the markets yet. Tick still negative about 22, 227. Qs are off the lows of the day, trying to regain VWAP here.
Yeah, look at that. Qs are running here a bit. There might be some buyers stepping in here. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe into those beaten up sectors. But if you look at the Dow, it's moving to the lows of the day, 46,900 here. So it's a little bit of a tale of two stories. Bitcoin, nice jump up 96. So there's the buyer. So maybe some institution stepping into IBIT here, or Michael Saylor making another big buy. Whatever it is, I'll take
23, man. I don't know. 14%. The VIX is still pretty high.
Yeah. Oh, it just dropped. I jumped up to 22. Yeah. I mean, VIX is very high still. Healthcare getting hit pretty hard today. UNH down about 2.35%. Financial sector, unless you're in Japan, MUFG and SMFG, two of the trading houses there, both
I
up
do
nicely.
like this selling though. This selling was pretty strong. I don't know. We might have some buyers coming in here in the Dow. I don't know. This was a pretty strong sell.
Catching a bid here, moving back to the upside.
Yeah, I kind of like this. If you're left in the buy, maybe this could be an interesting. Fly is up 22.58 now. You still got Fly?
I'm still in there. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, they have a great payload system that's easy to drop it off onto the moon.
Yeah, and I realize they're not profitable right now, and I knew that already when I bought them.
They will be. That company will be
profitable. We talked about the billions of dollars in backlog that they have, 13, I think it was. So, yeah, I'm not worried about it at all. That's
they'd rather pay Fly than pay Elon.
Yep, absolutely. Especially if you get a
small payload going up the moon. It's easy, yeah.
Tesla 391. So Steve was right. Looks like that was a good value here so far this morning. The thing I'd warn though is
according to Michael Saylor, that they added 45.6 million on November the 3rd. So they are now sitting at what?
What's that, Steve? I missed what you were saying.
The liquidation threshold on margin call for Saylor is under 30,000, so he's okay.
Yeah, it would be a 90% pullback it had to take. Remember, he does it through credit instruments now. He's not levered. He's only levered 1.15%. He brought up.
There's a good. And the Qs are just the highs of the day now.
Tick's finally gone positive here, so now we are moving back up. So maybe here, but again, like I said, this is going to be a lot of algos fighting it out at the beginning here.
Well, the algo's got to find some good news. I mean,
right, as Mr. Flanagan has pointed out, that they look at that stuff and they're not seeing it. The reaction that it's going to take is where it gets to a far enough position, as he was mentioning, where the capitulation kicks in and the models go to mean reversion from from following.
Remember we talked about the issues regarding cruise lines. RCL is adding a weakness today, Jim. That's going to take you back to the start.
Q's regained 601 here, so it was down below 600.
Yeah.
VIX 22.18. Ticks.
I mean, the Bitcoin's at 96,000. If we can break above 100,000, I think we run.
Yeah, I mean, if you do, I don't have us getting back that far today. Again, for me, it's more.
I think by Monday we'll make 100,000. I bet somewhere between now and Monday we'll be at 100,000 in Bitcoin.
Well, the weekend, as you know, is where we tend to see the spot volume pick up versus the perp volume, and where we do see money start to get usually done there. I don't argue that point. The problem is if we do get below that or hit that 93, the amount of liquidations that will hit is just huge.
Right.
And that would be the problem.
We need short liquidations. That's all we need.
Yeah. I mean, I pointed out earlier this week that the 95 put was the number one.
This whole Union Pacific.
If I have to guess, they would have just covered. So that they will pull those off. They're not going to wait. If you hit their level, you hit their level. They're done. So this was the magnet we talked about, 95, with that put skew that was in place. 1.8, I think it was $1.8 billion in the 95K puts. They just got paid off. So
one of the things I've been talking about is mergers and acquisitions, and I talked about that in the railroads. Union Pacific and Norfolk Southern shareholders have agreed to a deal to merge both railroad operators today. So Here you go.
That is the one that started a while ago, though, right? Like 6 months ago.
They,
Okay, I'm just making sure because we had been looking.
And here's the other thing: where's Netflix at today? So they're about to split 10 for 1, right? Starting. What are you advising the government to do? You mean what? How many things am I talking to them, and what am I talking to them about? Legally, I'm not allowed to talk about everything they're talking about with the government, but I can tell you that I'm talking to them about economics, obviously, and some of my thought process on housing markets right now. I've been asked about the interest rates and other ways. If the Fed is not going to do it, what else things that they could do? But I'm not allowed to talk about that here. So appreciate that. Disney now at 108. But thanks for the question though. But the Disney at 108.56 now. I'm full blown now in the profit with Disney.
Nice. Ticks on positive here again, so we are seeing a move up. Advanced decline though is not really moving. I need to see that needle start to move to think we got some market breadth. Otherwise, it is going to be stock pickers, individual ones moving up. Nvidia though nicely moving, recovering here back above 185. Meta holding that 600 level so far. Steven, you asked also, the other thing is, remember, we got Nvidia earnings coming up. What's it, the 19th, I believe? Yeah, 19th. So
hopefully
that's when we'll find out whether or not you mentioned it earlier about when we're going to see profitability. That's where you're going to see profitability, hopefully, in the market, right?
I mean, China has a real EV problem, right? 96.2 now on Bitcoin. They are buying back in.
Nvidia's running Nvidia, so people are going to value here. The 185.84 on Nvidia definitely moving to the upside. So we are seeing, a move into some of these
Microsoft could go positive here.
Yeah. Qs are only down 1% now and moving back to the upside. SPY's up only down 82. Dow Jones still getting hit the hardest, sort of stuck on the bottom there. If we look at the different indices here, they're all in the red, but we do see that XLP, which is consumer staples, is only down 40 basis points. Same thing, industrials seem to be catching a little bit of a bid. And real estate today is about to go green on the day, it looks like.
And that just tells you everything right there, that people are silly. Although I've started to invest a little bit in real estate, in ETFs, mutual funds.
Okay. You see Boeing up about 45 basis points here. Steve, are you surprised at that after seeing a few more announcements of Airbus purchases overseas as opposed to Boeing?
Another problem, right? I mean, that's what happens when you have problems and you can't make your planes, and you have mechanics are on strike every other week. Well, okay, fine. Guess what, boys? You're going to lose your contracts.
Yep.
There's a steady fine line between Saturday night and Sunday morning, as Buffett would say.
Steve, if I had a guess, this real estate is a bad decision by retail to buy, because I see Lennar is up like 70 basis points here. If I had a guess, they think that the 50-year mortgages are a good thing. They won't be for the market, so be careful there if you're buying these housing names based on.
Look, if you're gonna live in your home for 50 years, you're buying a home and you want to live in it, and you want the bank to own you, and you're okay with that, then okay with that, because it's lower, it's a little cheaper than rent, right? But you're not gonna make a payment on that house for 25 years. You're paying off
your interest
rate. So
yeah, I mean they're trying to change the goalpost, so to speak, to make it look like
if you make an extra payment every once in a while, okay. If you were trying to lock in a 3% or whatever it is, well, not 3% anymore, but if you're trying to lock in the low rate, then okay, all of those things, right? So I can understand, but I no, it's the worst thing ever.
NVIDIA seen some of 0 DTE covering here, it looks like. Moving to the upside here, moving almost to neutral here. So NVIDIA catching a bid. It is the Mag 7s where people looks like they're trying to find some value. Microsoft moving up nicely, recovering. Google dip buyers coming in. Same thing, Meta. Tesla definitely has some buyers coming in below 400. Netflix still moving to the downside, going into their stock split. Gold back, trying to get a little bit of a bid here. Bitcoin at 96,296 coming up on key resistance here at that 96.5 level. Do you see Micron up about 4.6%? I didn't see that flyer here this morning.
Yeah.
Micron up 4.63% here.
And rates are coming up, so that means some money's coming out of the bond market. Switzerland has agreed to a $200 billion investment in the United States. Doesn't say what the investment is, according to the USTR, U.S. Trade Rep Greer. I don't know.
Yeah, they were on this morning. He said that they were going to get that moving. Tick really picking up here, up 610. Yeah, so we are starting to see the buyers come in a little bit.
The Dow's still down 430. The Nasdaq still down.
Look at NVIDIA though. NVIDIA 186.78. So right off the bottom of that daily linear regression, back above the 50-day MA, and definitely moving.
Ukraine's military says that Russia did strike an oil refinery in Russia's Saratov region. So they hit back this morning.
Financials getting hit pretty hard here. Goldman Sachs down 2% here this morning, back towards its 50-day MA. None of the early moving stocks are doing really well. Mondelez has given up all of its gains. It's now gone negative. Same thing with Baker Hughes, had been up earlier in the pre-market, now down. Same thing with SLB Limited. So we're seeing a lot of them move to the downside. Halliburton down about 85 basis points here this morning. And then the same thing, the opposite of that is Rigetti was down big in the pre-market trading, now up 3.93%. Mooning, same thing. ABTC, Eric Trump's Bitcoin mining company, was down big in the pre-market, was the number one down, now up 3% on the day. So there are some dip buyers coming out. Same thing, I was looking at Kratos was down earlier in the pre-market, as low as 69.02, now regained 73.40.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of Kratos defense.
Yeah, that's why I was going to bring it up. Advanced decline now, that's doing what I wanted to see. So we moved from 4,200 on the downside to 35.49. So we do see some real money starting to move back into the market here this morning. Qs are at 603, just got rejected at the 604 area. NVIDIA, well, got as high as 187 before pulling back here. VIX slightly off of its highs here. Gold still unable to get back above 4,100. Bitcoin nicely holding that 96,300 handle. Dow is still not moving too much to the upside, still down over 1 percentage point. So that's where the laggards are hiding. Looks like quantum computing trade is back in vogue today here, Steve. Qubit now up 10% here this morning. I see Ondas holding up 10.91%. SRRK, Scholar Rock, up 27% here. So the quantum computing trade is definitely in play. Fly, as you mentioned, 2253, up 5% here today. Rigetti up 4.57. So we're seeing quantum computing and space is bouncing back too. Rocket Labs up 3.43. Steve, I saw you mentioned ASTS yesterday. What's going on there?
I don't know, but it seems like there's quite a bit of chatter on that ASTS.
For those that don't know, ASTS is AST Space Mobile, really one of the companies that works in the low orbit space and has been selling off some of its bandwidth. So an interesting one, Steve, just alerted us all to, so to speak. Keep your eye there. Bitcoin 96.5 here, Steve. So we do see spot buying coming in here this morning. If I had to guess, though, liquidations are also going to be a little bit involved here. Tesla's still moving up here, 395.99. I think it's going to try to get back above 400 here.
Now. Yeah.
NVIDIA is now up 30 basis points on the day, nicely regained its 50-day MA and bouncing to the upside here again. Look for that.
RTL is only down $2 now. It might go green here.
Yeah. Bitcoin nicely regaining here. If it can get over this 96,500 and hold, that which is the key spot I said to watch for. So we can hold over this. That's solid. Tick staying positive here. Q's now only down a half a percentage point, 605. So watch out above. Here we go. Markets are going to buy the dip, it looks like. Copper recovered pretty nicely here. It had been down a little earlier. Oil still under 60, Steve, for WTI. Does that get scary if it continues to stay under 60?
Of course it does. Yeah.
NVIDIA stalling out a little bit this 187 area, but still looking pretty strong. Looks like Apple wants to try to go positive on the day. Also, same thing with Microsoft. So the Mag 7, people are buying the dip in those companies for sure. Amazon moving back up, Google moving back up, all of them at highs of the day pretty much. Tesla, again, 396. Netflix is the only one not following suit, so people seem to be scared about that stock split there that happens on Monday. Advanced decline nicely back to 3,600, so we are not doing there. VIX also nicely moving back down to 2152 here, so we do see a little bit of the volatility coming off here. Bitcoin unable to hold that 96.5 we just talked about. That's the key area to watch here. This is going to be where we have some definite resistance here. Constellation Energy, another one leading here, up 2.36% so far today. So the energy sector catching a little bit of the bid. We talked about Micron still moving to the upside, up 5% here today. Shake Shack up 2.06% here today this morning.
Yeah, a little bit of selling there in Disney. I didn't like that selling there.
Nvidia now at 187.40, continuing to move to the upside here. So we are seeing a little bit of a recovery kick in nicely here. The accused rather now only down 50 basis points, trying to break above that 605 and hold here. Same thing with the SPY. They're running neck and neck right now. Dow Jones still down 1%, though it's not moving with it.
It's turning quiet though now in the markets a little bit.
Well, again, it could be the zero DTEs, and when they're done, which usually starts around 10:30 or so, they sort of start to wear off because the time decay gets too big in it. That's going to be the question. That is the question, because I don't know that this is sustainable throughout the day. Seeing a little bit of weakness coming in. I don't know. Retail looks like they are continuing to buy, so we could have that through the end. Steve, we are at 10 o'clock here. What are your thoughts for the day and the weekend?
Have a good one. I mean,
okay, everybody. Well, I didn't want to have to bring this up, by the way. Steve, how mad are you that the Patriots are back as the best team in NFL for you?
Who?
You heard me. The New England Patriots, baby. You guys have a great week from Steve and I, everybody. Be careful out there. This is what we've been talking about, right? That there would be some definite dips. Take advantage of them. Look for your value plays, and have a great weekend, everybody.